Well, welcome back to Newcastle Fans TV. I'm sorry if you had to see my face all night. I'm sure you probably want to see other people, but it needs must. It's the festive period. Hope everyone's had a good Christmas and a New Year. And you've got the three wise men. How lucky are you? Yourself, Sam Mulliner, and Lee Lauder for scoring the players. Get your ratings in below. I think it might be a nice one to talk about for a change with everything that's been going on. But Newcastle 0, Liverpool 0, a great point for Newcastle. And Steve Bruce's side are on 19 points as 2020 ends. Who's going to get the nicest one? Go on, Lee, because you're in the corner. I'll give you Carl Darlow. What a performance.
Same old. We're saying it every week now, aren't we?
Yeah.
Bigged up on Amazon as well tonight, which is nice to see, getting the player interview and stuff, and kept us out. My favourite save was the 1-on-1 against Salah. Very similar to Kevin De Bruyne last week, because he's getting a reputation of saving 1-on-1s now. We feel confident, he's big, he's strong. You can talk about his other saves, which I think he should be doing because they're close to him. And the fingertip one's a great one as well. But let's give him a... I can't say 10 out of 10. I'm going to give him a 9.
Why
Very
not?
high.
What?
I think I'll score him a 10 out of 10 if he was tested a bit more. So I'm going to say 9. I think that's still...
What else could he have done?
Look at you still ganging up just because I haven't been in this video for a while. 9 out of 10.
Sam, can you tell him why he's wrong and it should be 10?
What else could he have done?
Because there's 2 other players who were better than him tonight.
Was there?
Well, that's irrelevant.
Well, it's not.
He was absolutely superb. He should be in the England squad. He's in the form of his life. He's been absolutely superb. He's having a brilliant season. He couldn't do any more than what he's doing. I can't praise him highly enough. He's been absolutely fantastic. I think he's been harsh.
I can't believe it. I thought that would be the easiest mark with the night, but it's Lee's mark. Get your comments below. Do you agree with Lee? Clean sheet against Liverpool after making at least 5 good saves, in my particular opinion. It only gets a 9 out of 10. Must be harsh. 2020's coming to an end at the right time.
Only a 9 out of 10. Only.
Sam, I'm going to let you start with our right back debate as per usual. Deandre Yedlin, but proved me wrong today, I think.
Yeah, probably his best game for a long, long time. A long, long time. Really good to see. Kept Mane really quiet, didn't he? I mean, who'd have thought that? Absolutely superb. We know he can't cross by now, but he gets in some great positions. I'm going to echo it. He was superb. Who would have, if you'd have told me DeAndre Yedlin would have kept Mane quiet, I thought I would think you were on something that is not allowed. But fair play to him. He's put himself in the shop window. Still expect him to leave in January, or at the very least in the summer. But yeah, fair play to him. Great to see.
Yeah, completely echo that, which is strange considering it's a right back. Centre halves, 3 centre halves. I'm going to start with Fabian Schär. Lee's called him the elegant man. I'm going to call him the fantastic man, Superman, with that clearance in the second half from Mane. Great save from Darlow. I didn't even see him. I literally didn't even see him clear it. It was like, where's he come from? I thought Mane was just going to stick it in the net. It was almost like freeze frame almost. But great performance and so many interceptions. Reading the game really, really well, which I like. You can all the centre halves of Newcastle did absolutely brilliant today. I thought a lot of people were saying the fan reaction show, give that a watch as well. That Schär was absolutely fantastic, and I have to echo that as well. Do you know what it is? I think I'm going to give him 10 out of 10.
Oh, yes.
My biggest reason why, yes, that clearance is a massive, massive moment, but I can't really think of him putting a foot wrong. Firmino had a couple of chances. Salah had a couple of chances. Mane was quiet, but that for Liverpool is quiet. 2 or 3 chances each. That's quiet. I think that's absolutely brilliant. Does anybody disagree with that?
Isn't it funny how Yedlin, 6 months left on his deal, Fabian Schär, 6 months left on his deal, and they're both outstanding. He's my man of the match, Fabian Schär. That's just not because he's so elegant, but Yedlin was even better than Darlow for me tonight as well. So I think that's how good Yedlin was tonight, and how good Fabian Schär is for me, those two players are better than Carl Darlow's rating tonight.
You made an interesting point during the watch along, which I'm going to bring up and highlight, as you've probably forgotten it. But Schär was in the middle of the three centre backs tonight instead of Fernandez, which was really interesting. So he was the general in that back line. Maybe a bit of extra responsibility, which he seemed to thrive on. His performance had a bit of everything out. He even got his arse out on the pitch for all to see, which would have pleased many a viewer.
Brandon's eyes just lit up when that happened.
Brandon's eyes. You call him the elegant man. I'm sure your eyes lit up as well.
He's second night.
With a performance like that, we need to be opening contract talks with him, because he's free to speak to teams in Europe now about a Bosman. So
the problem is, though, Sam, that's one performance.
Yeah.
No, I know, but we know what he's capable of. We're short on quality and consistency, and that was his best performance since probably Brighton at home last season, where he had a couple of goal line clearances that game too. So yeah, fair play to him, absolutely superb.
Yeah, it was an exceptional performance from Fabian Schär, especially when you look at the two games he's been thrown into, Manchester City and Liverpool. Fair play, absolutely fair play to him tonight. Lee, Kieran Clark had a great header saved by the world's most expensive goalkeeper in Alisson. I'm not going to lie, for half a second I thought it was in. But just another standout, typical Kieran Clark performance. Unlucky not to score, but defensively, absolutely solid again. Yeah,
came in because of injuries and cannot really take him out now. You cannot. Doesn't matter if the captain's back next game. I think that'll be incredibly harsh. For me, the captain doesn't walk straight in. You've got to earn your place, a bit like Dubravka.
Yeah.
No nonsense, can bring the ball out. Really, really underrated. Don't think he's as good as Fabian Schär or Deandre Yedlin with the scores, but I'm going to bring my first ever point in as well. I'm going to give him an 8.5. So
how
that's what
harsh are you being today, by the way?
I'm not. I think it's not as good as Yedlin. So if Sam's scoring him a 9, I think it's
I think that's reasonably fair. Picked up a booking early on in the game, which concerned me, because you think that forward line carrying a yellow card for at least an hour, you think, oh God, this could get a bit hairy. But he was been absolutely outstanding. When was the last time? Has he ever had a real bad game in a black and white shirt? Not really. Yeah, absolutely superb. The entire back line was to keep that front three quiet as well, and to go back to Yedlin as well, because it just popped into my head. Not only did he keep Mane quiet, he kept Robertson quiet as well. So yeah, the entire back line did, which Fernandez rattled Robertson as well, which was quite funny.
Well, let's talk about Fernandez, Sam. He did rattle Robinson right at the end of the game for kicking the ball out of play, but it was a bit harsh to say the least. But yeah, just another solid centre half. I'm repeating myself.
Yeah, looked quite assured, because, as I said earlier, Schär was in the middle, so Fernandez got moved to the right-hand side of the three, which is what he was playing when Lascelles was in the team. And he can kind of whip a ball in, considering, as well. He's a better crosser than Yedlin.
Put me right back.
Yeah, but yeah, it was solid again. Made a couple of nice tackles, couple of nice blocks, some real nice. The defence, considering who we were playing with, was solid throughout. I'm probably going to go along with 8.5 as well. I think for Fernandez, I think he was equally as good as Kieran Clark. He was probably the weakest out of the back three, which tells you a lot of how good they all were today.
Fernandez had a bad game. Is that right? Is that what you said there, Sam?
No, that's not what I said at all. So wind your neck in.
Hey, dear me. Matt Ritchie, left wing back for myself today. Not as good as the rest in terms of the back line. To be honest, you talk about the Kieran Clark's booking. Ritchie's fault. Wasn't Clark's fault. He just got put in a situation where he had to take one for the team. Couple of decent crosses, got a good crossing for Clark. I just want to see a bit more consistency in terms of his crosses, because he has got it in him. I don't think it's as good as the rest today. I'm going to go 7.5 for Ritchie today. But the conundrum is, do you go with Ritchie with experience, but probably not an out-and-out left wing back, or do you go with Jamal Lewis, who is out of form, or do you go Paul Dummett? That's the big conundrum at the minute. Obviously, I think Dummett's been ill as well. It's a bit it's not a situation in terms of that we're worried about. It's just can someone kind of come in there and grasp that position, regardless if it's left back or left wing back. That would be kind of my point towards it. But on tonight's performance, Sam, you can't complain. Ritchie did a decent job considering who he was up against.
Much better than what he was against Manchester City. Before the game, I was really worried about our left-hand side because you had Ritchie and Joelinton against Alexander-Arnold and Salah. Jesus. It could be an absolute massacre. But after Ritchie got caught out against City, he's bounced back well. He's bounced back well tonight. So, yeah, reasonably solid, quite good. I think the game was made for Jetro Willems again, someone with that kind of ilk.
He's not at Newcastle yet.
Yet, that's the key word. But no, I like Ritchie. He gets the ball out of his feet, whips it in. But yeah, just want to see a bit more consistency from him. But yeah, much improved from his last game tonight.
100%. Lee, we're going to start in the centre of midfield, if that's okay, because I want to talk about the two centre midfielders a little bit more than the wingers tonight. Matty Longstaff, we're going to start with. Any 29, I'm going to get that in. For me,
16, come on.
I know.
ST20.
Probably where that?
I know. I was going to say, where is that?
Who's it outside?
Lee, I love how calm he is on the ball. I really do. And there was times in the second half where he had like 4 or 5 Liverpool players around him, and he just found a pass, and there wasn't any, like any worry with him at all. I thought him and Hayden do work well together. They've both got engines. They both can run and run and run. And look, the midfield that they're up against in terms of Milner, Henderson, and Jones, it was, I don't know. Milner and Henderson for me were just too similar for Liverpool at times. And Jones was trying to do stuff, and it didn't really pay off. Maybe that's a compliment to the two midfielders. What do you think?
Well, it's more than a compliment because you're playing against 3 central midfielders, not just the 2 with Liverpool. And Carl was like orgasm over what Sam was describing Matty in the watch along. Describe Matty.
It just tenacious and brings that desire, doesn't it?
Dynamism. That was the word that Carl.
Brings dynamism. Yes, that was the word. Yes, you're quite right. Dynamism. He's just a right tenacious little fucker, isn't he? That you just want scrapping away in that midfield. I'd love him to bits. I'd never understood the criticism he got. We haven't seen enough of him. It just goes to show bringing Ben Taleb in was just an absolute shocking decision. Want to see Matty have a good run of games in the team. And I'm aware that Lee hasn't even graded him yet.
Yeah, because you haven't given us the chance to.
Stop stealing the limelight, Sam.
Matty's going to give a 9 for me. I don't think he's as good as Yedlin or Fabian Schär for me personally, but he's right up there. He's the best player, one of the best players against Manchester City, and the stats back that up with all the passing and everything. Keeps it simple as well. He doesn't go Hollywood or anything like that. He keeps it simple. He's tenacious. He runs about, gets in your face. High pressing tonight as well. We've got to remember midfield were, including Hayden, right in the faces, where we're normally backing off. We normally sit back. Different tactic tonight. Credit to Bruce. I'm sure we will in a minute. But yeah, give him a run of games. Will he play on Sunday? That's the golden question. You want a bit more creativity. Your left are strong as Liverpool, no, but they're very dangerous on the counter. So if he continues to play wing back against Leicester, Matty has to start for me.
Yeah, I agree. I think he will start regardless because Isaac Hayden isn't going to be involved because Isaac Hayden got suspended, unfortunately, with a yellow card on a foul on Thiago and Sam. Isaac Hayden, I thought, was just as good potentially as Matty Longstaff today. I don't know how this guy keeps on doing this because he told everybody he had COVID. I think it's like his 6th or 7th game in a row that he's played for Newcastle since that. I might be a bit over the top in terms of the actual games he's played, but I can't really say that he's had a really bad game. He's played at different positions, but when you look at the game tonight against Liverpool, again, it was a battle. And he got some blocks in. He tried to help the team go forward. I can't really fault how well Isaac Hayden played. He's not going to get 10s, but for the job that he did, I thought he did a stellar job.
Yeah, if you were to say to someone, show me a typical Isaac Hayden midfield general performance, then you'd probably show them that, wouldn't you? Yeah, it's just you know what you're going to get from him. He's just such a hidden gem of ours because I don't think many opposition teams would kind of give him the credit that we do. Hence why he's not getting a sniff in the England squad amongst many of our players. Scoring wise, do you match him with Matty? I will say this about them pair: the shape looks so much better.
It does, isn't it?
In that centre of midfield, the shape was looking a mess when Shelby, Sean and Hendrick was playing on the right. It just looked an absolute clusterfuck. And it just looks so much more organised and so much more solid with them pair in there scrapping away. I'm torn between 8.5 and 9, but I'm feeling generous, so we'll match him with a 9. Him and Matty are working well together, I think. Yeah, real solid display. The booking he got to keep him out of Sunday's probably a blessing in disguise for him because he
needs a rest.
He needs a rest, deserves a rest, and we've got to look after our players. And it might be interesting just to see how a dynamic works. Maybe Matty alongside Shelby or something like that. Just for the crack.
Well, who knows? I'll go with Jacob Murphy. Who was on the right-hand side. People are kind of worried about Jacob Murphy and Deandre Yedlin. Is it just too much of a risk, them two on the right-hand side at times? I thought Jacob Murphy did okay. He did the job that was required. I would just like to see him a little bit better going forward. We've mentioned this before with Jacob Murphy. Just be a bit more, I don't know what's the word, extravagant maybe. When you're going forward, just look for the option. Just look for the option a little bit more. Lovely cross. I know I'm contradicting myself from the other week, but lovely cross in the air first half from Jacob Murphy as well.
Murphy can't cross. Yeah, he can.
Emil cross out there, right back in a back four. No, look. You can tell it's nearly the end of the year. No, I thought Jacob Murphy was all right. I'll give him a 7. Probably maybe slightly generous, but I think for the job that he was asked to do, it was to stop Robertson a little bit like Yedlin as well.
And he did do that. He did stop Robertson.
He did. Robertson, that was the quietest I've seen him. And Trent as well, which we'll mention a little bit later, wasn't as effective going forward. He had his moments, Trent, more than Robertson did. But Jacob Murphy did an okay job. Lee, let's talk about Joelinton. Mixed comments. Some people said he did well defensively. Some people said he needed to do better holding the ball up. Some people said he was okay with Wilson at times. How did you assess his performance tonight?
Oh, it's a tough one with Joelinton because it's it's a tough one. That I'm going to score him a 6. I don't think he was. I think he's a worse player on the pitch, but it's not a bad score because it's more than average. But when we've originally seen the lineup, we thought, oh, Joelinton's going to tuck in a little bit and let Ritchie bomb on the rare occasion that we do get the ball. Grafted hard, I like that. His holder play is getting better. It's just not a Newcastle player, unfortunately. And he started ahead of Miggy, which is a bit strange tonight. But I'll keep it short and sweet and 6.
Yeah, short and sweet. Well, it's an interesting debate with Joelinton's performance tonight. He's probably not good enough, but he did an okay job considering who he was up against. Sam, a man that just makes a massive difference for Newcastle United in any game he plays, is Callum Wilson. And unlucky not to score tonight, but he worked his arse off tonight. He just did not stop running. And look, he was 50-50 apparently tonight because he had a slight knock going into the Manchester City game. He's had an extra 4 days rest, allegedly. What do you think about him? Because he's becoming a fan favourite if he wasn't so already.
Well, we love our goal scorers, so that's why he's becoming a fan favourite. I thought he was absolutely superb tonight. Ran the channels really well, worked the centre-backs really hard. I would have liked to have seen maybe some more pressure applied to their centre-backs in the second half. 65, 70 minutes we sat back and we looked like we were happy with the point, and that was that. But I'm going to give him an 8. I thought he was brilliant. He really was. It makes so much difference when he's on the pitch. Only gripe, could he have buried a couple? He had a couple of good chances in that first half. Could he have squared it to Murphy? That one where he
should he have squared it to Allison?
You should have squared it.
I thought he took too many touches and should have
That's
scored.
Joelinton. You get slated all over social media tonight. Because it's Callum Wilson, he doesn't.
No, he should have squared it. But that's the greedy striker in him. He's trying to beat one of the world's top goalkeepers at the near post. But it is what it is. He was brilliant. I'm not going to fight his performance because he's still working off scraps with that lone striker role against the big sides. But considering a striker didn't score 8 out of 10, I think it's a pretty fair assessment.
Yeah, I think it's look. Of course, we wanted to score. Maybe the greedy striker in him, as you've mentioned, wants to score the goals. Maybe the right option was actually a passer for Murphy, but he was always a threat towards Nathaniel Phillips. Today, I thought Phillips struggled with him at times. The fact that he's got so many Liverpool players around him actually helped Phillips in terms of giving the ball to other defenders like Fabinho and Trent Alexander-Arnold, Henderson, etc. So, yeah, fair assessment to an extent, I think. Substitutions: Miguel Almiron. First up for me tonight. Was there to do the same job as Jacob Murphy was. I just get a little bit frustrated with him because I don't know if you were frustrated with him at times in the last 10, 15 minutes when we did have the ball and when he did have the ball and Wilson was asking for it and like that through ball, it was just slow and defensive and didn't actually do it. Or if he did try and do it, it wasn't a good pass. But defensively, there was times where he got back in position and nicked the ball. I think Mane had a couple of times where he was in the position just to nick the ball back and get possession, and that's what we asked for, just to run the clock down, nick the point. Because he was only on for 25 minutes, I'll give him a 6, being nice. But again, got the job done. Got the job done in terms of win the ball, waste time, get the point, and that's what we did tonight. So I can't complain too much. Lee, Jamal Lewis, non-applicable, or do you want to rate him?
No, I think it's harsh if we score him because he didn't have much to do, did he? Non-applicable, but he's positioned under threat, which is probably a good thing for him. Come out the side. We're still needing signing there, I think, but if we go with wing backs, I think it'll be a third game in a row where he'll sit out and Ritchie will continue against Leicester, assuming we'll play wing backs.
Yeah, I've just moved seat because my shoulder's killing. So that's why I've moved. Yeah, I think it was only 2 substitutions, so we'll go to Steve Bruce. Look, the pressure on Steve Bruce will not waver. It really won't. The Brentford game for me was the worst cup performance I've seen from Newcastle side in a long time in that sort of position, and that's going to take a lot for me to get Bruce to win me back over. But Lee, I'll let you start off with what you want to give him, and obviously we'll all try and agree on it. The biggest frustration is when the possession that we've got, we don't do enough with it. Did we do a bit more with it today? And that's why we're a bit more happy in terms of the performance and the result now.
Yeah, there was a lot more. I don't want to say effort because that's not the right word, because they always try and give effort. High pressing, especially early on. I like that. You've seen Jordan Henderson make a mistake and he was getting frustrated. Even Isaac Hayden outpaced Jordan Henderson on that right wing. I was like, what's going on here? I like the high pressing. I like the fact that we started the game well. We had a few chances. Maybe should have put one away. Defensively, outstanding. That's our best defensive performance without a shadow of a doubt by a clear mile. We've already talked about the defenders and how they've scored 9s and 10s and 8s and what have you. A clean sheet as well. We're only with third one all season. A point after a shocking run of performances and results. I'm going to score Steve Bruce a 9 out of 10 tonight. I think it's got to be that high. It would have been 10 out of 10 if we got the win. But going to the end of the season with that performance is much better. And we're feeling positive tonight. Credit where credit is due. I'm giving him 9. When it's bad, I'll slate him. When I praise him, I'll praise him. 9 for me.
Sam, tactically, he did change it a little bit tonight. Obviously, Lee's mentioned defensively, he did move Fabian Schär into the centre and move Fernandez obviously to the right hand side. Sorry,
yeah.
And that little subtle changes like that. In terms of the midfield, he kept it with he kept it with Matty, and Isaac Hayden. And yes, Joelinton's he's gonna divide opinions, but defensively was okay today. Lee's right in what he's saying in terms of you've got to score him in terms of the results, because it's always results first and then performances second. That's the way it always will be. And this result was not expected tonight.
You can say that again. How many of us and the people watching were expecting us to get done by 3 or 4 tonight. That was a reasonable expectation, as long as, but it does go to show that you can play 5 at the back and you don't have to be so negative, which is, I'm not against playing 5 at the back by any stretch against the kind of the big teams, as it were, because you do need that extra man in there when you're dealing with such a front 3 like Liverpool have got.
How many teams are going to stop Firmino, Salah, and Mane?
Not many.
Not many, but they did have their moments.
They did.
Yeah, they did have their moments, and Darlow again has got us out of jail a tiny bit, but the defence were good as we've reflected in the scores. The high press was the first half was probably one of the best first halves of the season, if not the first half, because we've been that poor and that lucky in some of the games. I think we went toe to toe with them and we matched them, and it was great, really good to see. We were unlucky not to nick a goal in the first half. Obviously, we shut up shop in the second half. An unexpected point, a real hard working performance, which I love. I love to see our players working their bollocks off, because the hard work beats talent every time, in my opinion. I was going to give Bruce an 8.
Okay.
Because I would have liked to have seen a slightly more positive change a bit earlier in the second half. I want to see more pressure applied to their centre backs, kind of 55, 60 minutes in. But nitpicking, happy with the point, delighted with the point. Again, praise him when he's right. It's his birthday tomorrow as well. It's his big 60th birthday for Mr. Bruce, so I'm sure that'll please him. A hard-earned point against the champions and one of the best teams in the world.
Yeah, an early birthday present for Steve Bruce. I'll meet you in the middle, lads. I'll go 8.5. I think for me, the point is the biggest positive out of everything. We didn't expect anything from Man City, Liverpool, and Leicester. And after 2 games, we've got a point. That's 1 point more than we all thought. So in terms of that, very, very happy, considering a couple of results put us 15th in the league maybe. So that point just edges us away a little bit from any potential relegation battle worries or thoughts. But look, you can't complain with a point at home to Liverpool, considering how well Liverpool are and how good they are. I can't say how happy I am with the fact that we've kept the wing-backs relatively quiet, considering who they are. We've mentioned Robertson, Alexander O'Hara's moments in particular, that shot/cross which Schär managed to keep out the line. I just kind of believe that. I still kind of believe that moment. I can almost screamed in the house when Schär cleared it. So I was really happy. So look, it's the consistency now. Can we do this against Leicester? Can we do this against Arsenal in the Cup and the League? Can we do this against Sheffield United? If we can get those sort of performances and improve with the possession that we can have, because it was under 30% for most of the game today. If we can improve on that when we do have the ball, look, we can become a little bit more exciting to watch. Even though it was 0-0, it wasn't like a 0-0 where it was that.
I say exciting to watch. I would still keep that system for Leicester on Sunday, personally.
Not 4-2-3-1?
No, because I think Leicester can hurt you if you play that.
See what you did there, Johnny?
Nearly. Lee, what formation would you go for Leicester?
Oh, it's tough because they've performed so well tonight, but I don't like the wing-backs. But the threat of Vardy, it's just there, isn't it? So I would probably stick to wing-backs, but I wouldn't for long-term. I don't like it.
No. I wouldn't long-term, just for that game.
Oh, good. Another 5 at the back massacre against Leicester this time. But no, that is scoring the players. Do you agree or disagree? Thank you very much, Rich. Quality show. Keep up the good work and seeing you. Thank you very much. We do appreciate everybody, Newcastle Fans TV. We'd like to wish everybody all the best for 2021. It's probably one of the last videos for before the end of the year. Of course, Lee has the last word later on. What can people look forward to with that?
So midnight, 15 minutes, me and Sam are going to be talking about the game. We've got a clip from Carl about, he looks very happy in the video. We've got reaction from Steve Bruce. We're going to talk about the lineups. We might talk about transfers depending on how long the video goes on for. So stay tuned. 15 minutes.
Lee and Sam are on the night shift. I'm going to go and get an early night. Yes, my thanks as always to Lee Lawler.
Cheers.
To Mr. Mulliner.
Cheers.
And if we don't see us after the last word, have a great 2021 and hopefully we can see the back of 2020. All the best, everyone.